So, what's wrong with willpower? There's nothing wrong with willpower, except that it runs out. You may have done a crash diet for a real long time or given something up for a real long time. But have you ever really given up anything permanently using willpower where you really, really want it, but you just seriously are white knuckling it forever? If you have, I will offer you a gold star because it's very rare. Willpower is a great tool. It's how we endure small inconveniences and being uncomfortable for a little while until we can experience relief from having to resist something. But when it comes to food and eating patterns, this one is not going to work because if it's Snickers, if it's Pringles, if it's Cheetos, if it's eating in front of the TV, if it's eating late at night, if it's binge eating in the car, those behaviors will always be available to you. Those foods will always be available to you, and you're always going to exist. So there has to be something that happens that shifts so that you're not spending your life miserable without being able to do these things that you want to do. Willpower also starts out very strong in the morning. And as you get tired, as your mind gets tired making decisions all day, important decisions about your family and your kids and your job and your work, all of a sudden the idea of just not having the Snicker, I see the Snicker bar, I see the Snicker bar, you say no, 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 no. End of the day, you're tired of saying no and you're tired. And so it's so easy to say, screw it, I'll just do it tomorrow. And you grab the Snicker bar or stop at the drive through or whatever it is you're using willpower to resist. Willpower fails as we get tired and decision fatigue piles up during the day. So willpower has never been an effective way to do anything. Look at all of your failed diet attempts in the past. Look at all of the times where you say, oh, I tried that, I tried this, I tried that, it didn't work. Most likely those methods included a lot of willpower. Even if you're doing something that's healthy, like say you're doing something like just counting calories and your protein. If you have it in your head that you have to do this really strictly for 6 months and then you can, I don't know what happens after 6 months, but just 6 months, you're going to do great for a while, but pretty soon you're going to get tired. And then what happens if you do last 6 months? What happens on the first day after 6 months? What do? Now you're done resisting. Most of us go crazy. And we maybe ease back into having that thing, but most of the time it comes back with just the same vengeance we had before because we didn't change our desire for it. Willpower is not the method to overcome emotional eating, period. Removing the desire is the only way to find freedom from emotional eating. What does that mean? So I want you to think about, what if I gave you, excuse the terribleness of this example, what if I gave you some heroin and I said, here, hold this. I need you to hold this for an hour. I'm going to come back and I need you to give it to me. Would you want to take the heroin? I'm pretty sure you would not. What if you're a non-smoker and I said, here, hold my cigarette. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Would it be really tough for you not to take a drag on the cigarette? Now, think of your favorite food. We'll use the Snicker bar. What if I say, here's my Snicker bar. Can you hold this? In fact, here's a whole armful. You can have as much as you want, but just hold these for me. I'll be back in 3 hours. Would it be hard for you not to eat the Snickers? Now, some of you may say, well, of course, they're not my Snickers. But let's say I told you you could have as much as you want. Would it be difficult for you not to have the Snicker bar? The answer depends on if you are emotionally addicted to Snicker bars, if you desire Snicker bars. Now, for me, if you had me hold your cigarette, I'd be like, I don't want to take a drag of this. It would be no problem to just hold it. But if you said, here's a hot, fresh glazed donut, I want it in your hand for 10 minutes, and then I'm coming back, it'd be really hard. And by the time I was done holding it and smelling it and looking at it, I may really have a hard time not going and getting my own or eating that donut because I still have a desire for the donut. But what can happen, and what has happened to me, is you could hold a donut or a Snicker bar or Reese's Pieces or any of those foods you love for the longest period of time necessary, sleep with them on your nightstand, carry them everywhere you go, not touch them, and have no desire to do so. Just like if I was a drug mule, I wouldn't have a hard time opening the brick and taking it. I have no desire. That's what we need. Willpower does not help, but not desiring the thing is what sets you free. So, in order to figure that out, we have to talk about the addiction cycle. That's what we're going to talk about next.